Have you ever felt like certain knowledge was meant to find you at exactly the right moment in your life? Like the universe itself conspired to place a life-changing revelation directly in your path, when your consciousness finally evolved enough to receive it? But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. There's something extraordinary happening right now, and if you're watching this video, it's no coincidence. You see, there exists a rare book, not the kind you find on bestseller lists or prominently displayed in bookstore windows, but one that seems to materialize only when someone is truly ready to transform their relationship with wealth and abundance. This isn't about stumbling upon information. This is about being chosen by wisdom that has been waiting for your consciousness to expand enough to grasp its profound implications. Has this ever happened to you? You've been struggling financially, working harder than ever, yet somehow feeling like you're running on a hamster wheel that never stops. You've tried different strategies, maybe even read dozens of self-help books, but something fundamental was still missing. That gnawing feeling in your gut telling you that you were meant for something greater, something more abundant, more prosperous, yet you couldn't quite put your finger on what was holding you back. Here's what most people don't realize. You weren't born to merely survive, scraping by paycheck to paycheck, worrying about bills, or settling for a life of financial mediocrity. That constant struggle you've been experiencing isn't your natural state. It's actually a sign that you've been operating below your true potential. Your birthright, your natural inheritance as a human being, is to prosper, to lead, and to transform your mind into a powerful magnet that effortlessly attracts wealth and opportunities. This revelation might surprise you, but what you're about to discover has nothing to do with luck, privilege, or being born into the right family. The millionaires and billionaires who seem to effortlessly create wealth aren't operating with some secret advantage you don't possess. They've simply awakened to fundamental principles about how the mind works, how thoughts become things, and how consciousness itself shapes our external reality. Stay with me until the end, because what I'm about to share with you represents a complete paradigm shift in how you understand wealth creation. We're not talking about get-rich-quick schemes or surface-level tactics. We're diving deep into the invisible laws that govern abundance, the mental chemistry that transforms ordinary thoughts into extraordinary results, and the precise process by which burning desire becomes inevitable manifestation. The rare book I mentioned earlier, the one that finds you when you're ready, contains principles that have been quietly shaping fortunes for decades. These aren't new concepts, but they're concepts that most people encounter only when their consciousness has evolved enough to recognize their power. And right now, in this moment, as these words reach your awareness, something profound is beginning to shift within your mind. The people who resonate with this content are the ones actively seeking transformation, not just entertainment. If that's you, consider subscribing, because I regularly explore the hidden laws of consciousness and success that most people never encounter. You'll be among the first to access insights that can genuinely shift your reality. Now, I want to go even deeper into this transformation, because what you're experiencing right now is the beginning of a profound shift that will fundamentally alter how you approach wealth creation. The moment you truly understand what I'm about to reveal, you'll never look at your thoughts the same way again. Here's a hidden truth that most people never grasp. Thoughts aren't just fleeting mental activity bouncing around in your head. When thoughts combine with definite purpose, burning faith, and persistent desire, they become powerful forces capable of reshaping your entire reality. Think about this for a moment. Every towering skyscraper you've ever admired started as nothing more than a blueprint in someone's mind. Every business empire that generates millions began as a vision in an entrepreneur's imagination. Every Fortune that has ever been accumulated originated as a burning desire that gradually transformed into an unstoppable obsession. This isn't mystical thinking or wishful fantasy. This is the practical application of mental laws that have been operating consistently throughout human history. The problem is that most people treat their thoughts carelessly, allowing random worries, fears, and limitations to occupy the sacred space of their consciousness. They think about money in a scattered, inconsistent way, mixing desires for wealth with deep-seated beliefs about their own unworthiness or the impossibility of their dreams. But there's something even more crucial that determines whether your thoughts become reality or remain mere wishes floating in your mind. The universe operates on a principle that most people completely misunderstand. It doesn't respond to lukewarm intentions, half-hearted wishes, or tentative hopes. The cosmic forces that govern manifestation only respond to those who decide with power and unwavering commitment. Decision, you see, is pure energy. It's not just a mental choice, it's a vibrational frequency that aligns both your internal and external worlds. When you truly decide something, not just think about it or hope for it, but decide with every fiber of your being, something extraordinary happens. Your entire nervous system reorganizes itself around that decision. Your subconscious mind begins working tirelessly to find ways to make it reality. Your perception starts filtering information differently, noticing opportunities that were always there but previously invisible to your unfocused awareness. Most people sabotage themselves because they never actually decide. They want things, they wish for things, they dream about things, but they never cross that invisible line where wanting becomes deciding. They keep one foot in their current reality and one foot in their desired future, which creates a kind of energetic split that prevents either from fully manifesting. The millionaires who seem to effortlessly attract wealth have mastered this fundamental distinction. They don't just hope to become wealthy, they decide to become wealthy, and that decision carries a completely different energetic signature than hoping or wishing. When you decide with absolute commitment, your mind stops entertaining alternatives and starts focusing all its creative power on finding the path forward. This journey of transformation requires a complete rewiring of how you relate to your own mental processes. It demands that you take responsibility for the quality and direction of your thoughts, treating them as the powerful creative tools they actually are, rather than random mental noise. Write in the comments, I'm ready to decide, if this resonates with your current journey and you're feeling that shift beginning to happen within your own consciousness. Now, I want to go even deeper into this transformation because there's a crucial distinction that separates those who merely wish for wealth from those who inevitably attract it. What you're about to understand will completely reframe how you approach your financial goals and why most people remain stuck in cycles of financial struggle despite their best intentions. The revelation is this: burning desire isn't just another emotion floating through your consciousness. It's not the same as wanting something or thinking it would be nice to have. Burning desire is actually a command to your subconscious mind, a direct instruction that opens doors previously sealed, activates resources you didn't know existed, and sets in motion a chain of events that transforms your entire reality. This desire must be so intense, so all-consuming, that failure becomes impossible to conceive. Not difficult to accept, not scary to contemplate, but literally impossible to conceive as an outcome. When you reach this level of desire, something profound shifts in your mental and emotional landscape. Your mind stops entertaining backup plans and alternative scenarios because it becomes completely focused on the singular outcome you've commanded it to create. Most people experience desire in waves. They feel motivated for a few days, maybe even a few weeks, but then life happens. They encounter obstacles, face criticism, or simply get tired of waiting for results. Their desire cools, becomes lukewarm, and eventually transforms back into mere wishing. But the wealthy, Understand something fundamental that others miss entirely. Wealth creation is a behind-the-scenes process that requires maintaining internal fire regardless of external circumstances. Here's what most people don't realize about how millionaires actually think. No one becomes wealthy by accident. Every single person who has accumulated significant wealth first created a clear, obsessive, indomitable mental image of their desired outcome. They didn't just visualize it occasionally or hope it might happen someday. They maintained an internal fire that couldn't be extinguished by failure, criticism, setbacks, or the inevitable waiting periods that accompany any significant transformation. When content truly resonates with your soul, hitting that like button isn't just support. It's a way of saying this message deserves to find others who need to hear it. Your engagement helps these insights reach people who are ready for their own breakthrough moment. This mental image becomes their North Star, their constant companion, their obsession in the healthiest sense of the word. They think about it when they wake up, they carry it with them throughout their day, and it's the last thing occupying their consciousness before sleep. This isn't unhealthy fixation, it's the deliberate cultivation of the mental state required to attract and sustain wealth. The journey from desire to manifestation follows specific patterns that most people never recognize because they give up too early in the process. They expect immediate results from their newfound understanding, and when those results don't materialize within their expected time frame, they conclude that the principles don't work, rather than recognizing that their desire wasn't burning intensely enough to sustain them through the necessary transformation period. What's happening behind the scenes during this process is that your subconscious mind is literally rewiring itself, creating new neural pathways and developing new perceptual filters that allow you to recognize opportunities that were always present but previously invisible to your unfocused awareness. This neurological transformation requires time, consistency, and above all, the kind of burning desire that refuses to accept any outcome other than success. The impact of this shift extends far beyond your bank account because wealth consciousness affects every aspect of how you move through the world, how you make decisions, and how others respond to your energy and presence. Write in the comments, "My desire is burning," if you can feel that intense inner fire beginning to ignite within your own consciousness right now. Now, I want to go even deeper into this transformation because there's a critical mistake that derails most people's journey toward wealth before they even begin. This revelation might completely change how you've been approaching your financial goals, and it explains why so many intelligent, hard-working people remain trapped in financial mediocrity despite their genuine desire for something better. The hidden truth is that everything begins with desire, but not just any desire. Most people think they have burning desire when what they actually have are vague hopes and general wishes floating around in their consciousness. They say things like, "I want more money," or "I wish I could be wealthy," or "It would be nice to have financial freedom." But these aren't desires. They're daydreams, and daydreams don't have the power to reshape reality. Your desire must be definite, burning, and obsessive. You must know exactly what you want with surgical precision. Not more money, but "I will earn exactly $200,000 within the next 18 months through creating and scaling an online business that serves people in meaningful ways." Not financial freedom, but "I will generate $50,000 per month in passive income by building multiple revenue streams that allow me to work from anywhere in the world." This level of specificity isn't just helpful, it's absolutely essential because your subconscious mind operates like a sophisticated goal-seeking mechanism, but it can only hit targets that are clearly defined. When you give it vague instructions, it produces vague results. When you give it precise coordinates, it becomes laser-focused on finding the exact path to that destination. But here's where most people get stuck, and this is the behind-the-scenes reality that separates Dreamers from achievers. Having a definite desire is only the beginning of the journey. That desire must transform into action, and not just any action, but systematic, planned action, executed with unshakable faith. The starting point of all achievement is desire, not luck, not talent, not favorable circumstances, but a definite desire that transforms into a concrete plan. This transformation from desire to action is where the real work begins, and it's where most people's journey ends, because they don't understand the process. They expect their burning desire to somehow magically manifest without the bridge of intelligent action. They wait for inspiration, for the perfect moment, for external validation, or for circumstances to align in their favor. But wealth creation doesn't work that way. The millionaires who seem to effortlessly attract abundance understand that desire without a plan is merely wishful thinking, and a plan without action is just sophisticated procrastination. They take their burning desire and immediately begin asking different questions. What specific steps must I take? What skills do I need to develop? What obstacles will I likely encounter, and how will I overcome them? Who do I need to become to sustain this level of success? This mindset shift from passive hoping to active creating completely changes the trajectory of your life. Instead of waiting for opportunities to appear, you begin creating opportunities. Instead of reacting to circumstances, you begin shaping circumstances. Instead of being at the mercy of external events, you become the architect of your own destiny. The impact of this transformation extends far beyond your bank account, because when you learn to convert burning desire into systematic action, you develop a superpower that applies to every area of your life. Write in the comments, "I'm taking action now," if you're ready to stop wishing and start creating the specific plan that will transform your burning desire into your living reality. Now, I want to go even deeper into this transformation, because what I'm about to reveal will expose the real difference between people who achieve extraordinary wealth and those who remain stuck in cycles of financial struggle, despite having similar intelligence, education, and opportunities. This behind-the-scenes reality might challenge everything you've been taught about success and achievement. True desire doesn't politely ask for permission or wait for convenient moments to express itself. It becomes organized obsession, and I want you to understand what that actually means in practical terms. When your desire reaches this level of intensity, it fundamentally alters your daily rhythms and priorities without any external pressure or motivation required. You wake up early without an alarm because your mind is already racing with ideas and possibilities. You find yourself studying, learning, and researching while others are sleeping or scrolling through social media. You keep moving forward when others quit because stopping simply isn't an option your consciousness can accept. If these insights sparked something within you, I'd love to have you join our community by subscribing. I'm constantly diving into the deeper principles of wealth consciousness and personal transformation, and I share these discoveries with people who are genuinely ready to evolve their relationship with success and abundance. This isn't about becoming a workaholic or sacrificing your well-being. It's about reaching a state where working toward your goal feels as natural and necessary as breathing. The obsession becomes organized because it develops its own internal structure, its own momentum, its own intelligence. You start seeing connections and opportunities that were always there, but previously invisible to your unfocused awareness. But here's the revelation that completely transforms how you approach wealth creation. Mental certainty must precede physical reality. Most people have this backwards. They're waiting for external evidence before they allow themselves to feel certain about their financial future. They think they'll develop confidence after they see results, but wealth creation operates on the opposite principle entirely. Wealth begins with a mental state, absolute certainty that you can have it. Not hope, Not wishful thinking, not crossing your fingers and hoping for the best, but unshakable certainty that your desired outcome is inevitable. The truly wealthy understand this fundamental truth. They build internal certainty first, then the external world obeys. They don't wait for external signs to validate their dreams. They create internal conviction that becomes so strong it reshapes their external reality. This mindset shift requires a complete rewiring of how you relate to uncertainty and evidence. Most people's consciousness is constantly seeking external validation for their internal dreams. They want guarantees, proof, and assurance before they commit fully to their vision. But wealth consciousness operates from a completely different paradigm. It generates its own certainty from within, regardless of current circumstances or external opinions. The journey from doubt to certainty isn't something that happens overnight, but it follows predictable patterns that you can accelerate once you understand the process. It begins with making a decision that transcends circumstances. When you decide with absolute commitment, not because conditions are perfect, but because your vision demands it, your entire nervous system reorganizes itself around that decision. This internal transformation creates what appears to be luck or coincidence to outside observers, but it's actually the natural result of consciousness aligned with purpose. Your perception begins filtering information differently, noticing opportunities that support your vision while becoming blind to circumstances that would normally discourage you. Your energy and presence change in ways that attract people and situations aligned with your new certainty. The impact of developing this unshakable internal certainty extends far beyond financial results, because it fundamentally changes how you show up in every area of your life, creating a ripple effect that touches every relationship and opportunity. Write in the comments, "I choose certainty," if you can feel that shift beginning to happen within your own consciousness, that movement from hoping to knowing. Now, I want to go even deeper into this transformation because there's a hidden truth about how thoughts actually create reality that most people completely misunderstand. What you're about to discover will revolutionize how you use your mind and explain why some people seem to effortlessly attract wealth while others struggle despite working just as hard. Here's the revelation that changes everything. When thoughts mix with the emotion of burning desire, they become an unstoppable force. But here's what most people don't realize. They're unconsciously sabotaging their own wealth creation by contaminating their thoughts with the wrong emotions. They think about money and wealth, but they're simultaneously feeling doubt, fear, and shame. These negative emotions don't just weaken their thoughts, they completely cancel out the creative power of thought itself. This is happening behind the scenes in most people's consciousness without them even realizing it. They visualize success while feeling unworthy. They imagine abundance while worrying about failure. They dream about financial freedom while being ashamed of their current circumstances. This creates an internal conflict that neutralizes any positive momentum they might otherwise generate. The wealthy understand something fundamental that others miss entirely. Your mind is a workshop where mental images are manufactured. This isn't just a poetic metaphor, it's literally how consciousness operates. Every thought you think creates a mental image, and these images become blueprints that reality translates into facts. But here's the crucial part that determines whether those blueprints ever become physical reality. The images must be charged with intense emotion and sustained with obsessive focus. Reality only responds to decided, emotionally charged, obsessively sustained thought. Not casual thinking, not occasional daydreaming, not sporadic bursts of motivation, but consistent, intense, emotionally loaded mental imagery that you maintain regardless of external circumstances. This is the difference between people who manifest their desires and people who remain stuck in wishful thinking. The transformation happens when you learn to consciously control not just what you think about, but how you feel while you're thinking about it. When you can visualize your financial goals while feeling genuine excitement, gratitude, and certainty, you're creating blueprints that the universe has no choice but to manifest. This isn't mystical thinking, it's the practical application of how consciousness shapes reality. Most people's mental workshop is chaotic, producing contradictory blueprints throughout the day. They imagine success in the morning, then spend the afternoon dwelling on problems. They feel grateful for opportunities one moment, then spiral into worry the next. This inconsistency creates mixed signals that prevent any clear manifestation from occurring. The journey toward wealth consciousness requires developing what I call emotional discipline, the ability to consciously choose which emotions you're going to pair with your thoughts about money and success. This isn't about positive thinking or denial of challenges. It's about understanding that your emotional state while thinking determines whether those thoughts become creative forces or destructive ones. When you master this principle, something extraordinary happens in your life. Your mental workshop begins producing clear, consistent blueprints that align with your deepest desires, and reality begins reshaping itself to match those inner images with startling precision and speed. Write in the comments, "My workshop is ready," if you're prepared to take conscious control of both your thoughts and the emotions that give them their creative power. Now, I want to go even deeper into this transformation because there's a fundamental principle that separates those who accumulate wealth from those who remain trapped in financial struggle, and it has nothing to do with intelligence, education, or even opportunities. This revelation will expose why some people seem to effortlessly attract abundance, while others work just as hard but never break through to the next level. The hidden truth is this: people who make quick, firm decisions know what they want and usually get it. This isn't about being impulsive or reckless. It's about understanding that decisiveness itself is a form of energy that attracts opportunities and resources. When you postpone decisions, opportunity flees. When you doubt and hesitate, wealth literally hides from you. Indecision is poverty in disguise, masquerading as careful consideration when it's actually fear-based paralysis. Most people have this backwards. They think they need more information, more certainty, more favorable conditions before they can make important decisions about their financial future. But wealth consciousness operates from the opposite principle. Decisive people understand that perfect information never exists, ideal conditions never arrive, and waiting for certainty is actually the most uncertain strategy of all. Behind the scenes, something profound happens when you develop the ability to make quick, firm decisions. Your entire nervous system reorganizes itself around decisiveness. Your subconscious mind stops entertaining multiple possibilities and focuses all its creative power on manifesting the outcome you've decided upon. Other people begin responding to your energy differently because decisiveness is magnetic. It attracts support, resources, and opportunities. If this conversation opened new possibilities in your mind, a like helps ensure this message reaches others who are searching for the same transformation you're experiencing right now. Sometimes that simple gesture creates a ripple effect that changes someone's entire life trajectory. But here's where the real magic happens, and this connects to something most people never consider about wealth creation. Everything you see in the physical world, every towering building, every successful business, every accumulated fortune, was born first in someone's imagination. Imagination isn't child's play or idle daydreaming. It's the divine tool that converts thoughts into gold, the sacred workshop where all human-created plans are forged. This is the behind-the-scenes process that creates all material wealth. Before there was ever a physical structure, someone imagined it in complete detail. Before any business generated its first dollar, an entrepreneur visualized the entire operation in their mind. Before any fortune accumulated in bank accounts, someone imagined themselves living that abundant lifestyle with such clarity and intensity that their imagination became a blueprint for reality. The transformation happens when you understand that your imagination isn't separate from your practical planning. It is your practical planning. The wealthy don't just imagine success and then hope it happens. They use their imagination as a precision tool to create detailed mental blueprints that guide every decision and action they take. Your imagination is constantly operating, whether you're conscious of it or not. The question is whether you're using it to create wealth or to reinforce limitation. Most people unconsciously imagine worst-case scenarios, visualize problems, and mentally rehearse failure. They've turned their divine creative tool into a poverty-generating machine without even realizing it. When you learn to consciously direct your imagination toward your desired outcomes, with the same intensity and detail that you once used to worry about problems, everything begins to shift. Your imagination becomes a magnet that attracts the people, circumstances, and opportunities necessary to transform your mental blueprints into physical reality. Write in the comments, "I choose to imagine wealth," if you're ready to transform your imagination from a source of worry into your most powerful tool for creating the abundant life you truly desire. Now, I want to go even deeper into this transformation because understanding the different types of imagination will completely revolutionize how you approach wealth creation and explain why some people seem to have an endless stream of million-dollar ideas, while others struggle to generate even basic solutions to their financial challenges. There are actually two distinct types of imagination operating within your consciousness, and most people only ever access one of them. Synthetic imagination reorganizes known ideas, combining existing concepts in new ways to create solutions and opportunities. This is valuable, but it's limited to recombining what already exists in your awareness or experience. It's like being a master chef who can create amazing dishes, but only using ingredients that are already in the kitchen. But there's a more powerful form of imagination that most people never consciously access. Creative imagination is pure spark, a direct channel to the unlimited. This is where great inventions are downloaded, where revolutionary business ideas spontaneously appear, where million-dollar concepts seem to materialize out of nowhere. When you tap into creative imagination, you're not just reorganizing existing knowledge. You're accessing ideas and solutions that don't yet exist in the physical world. The journey from synthetic to creative imagination requires a specific mental state that most people never achieve because they're operating from fear, doubt, and limitation. Creative imagination only opens when your consciousness reaches a certain level of intensity and expectation. It's like tuning into a radio frequency that's always broadcasting, but can only be received when your mental receiver is properly calibrated. This calibration happens through what appears to be obsession, but is actually focused intensity. Burning desire is the starting point of all achievement, but here's what most people don't understand about the quality of desire required. It's not lukewarm wanting, casual hoping, or occasional wishing. It's pure, powerful, unshakable obsession, a fire that doesn't extinguish with doubt, criticism, setbacks, or fear. This level of intensity creates a transformation in your consciousness that opens channels most people never experience. When your desire reaches this burning point, your mind stops entertaining alternatives and starts accessing solutions that seem to come from beyond your normal thinking process. Ideas begin flowing that you couldn't have logically deduced or systematically developed. Opportunities start appearing that seem perfectly timed, almost as if the universe is conspiring to support your vision. The impact of developing this intensity extends far beyond generating ideas, because it fundamentally changes how you relate to challenges and obstacles. Instead of seeing problems as roadblocks, your burning desire transforms them into stepping stones. Instead of being discouraged by setbacks, your obsession uses them as fuel to burn even brighter. Most people's desire fluctuates with their mood, their circumstances, and their confidence level. They feel motivated when things are going well and discouraged when they encounter resistance. But wealth consciousness maintains consistent intensity regardless of external conditions. This constancy is what keeps the channel to creative imagination open and accessible. Behind the scenes, this burning desire is actually reprogramming your subconscious mind, training it to filter reality differently. You begin noticing opportunities that were always there but previously invisible to your unfocused awareness. Your energy and presence change in ways that attract people and circumstances aligned with your vision. Write in the comments, "My desire burns bright," if you can feel that intensity building within you, that shift from casual wanting to the kind of burning obsession that opens doors to unlimited possibilities. Now I want to go even deeper into this transformation, because what I'm about to reveal will completely shift your understanding of how wealth actually comes into your life. This hidden truth explains why some people seem to effortlessly attract abundance, while others exhaust themselves, trying to force results that never materialize. Here's the revelation that changes everything. What you desire with such burning force already exists somewhere in the universe. This isn't mystical thinking, it's a fundamental principle of how reality operates. Your task isn't to create wealth from scratch, struggling and grinding to manufacture something that doesn't exist. Your task is to attract it to you through thoughts of such emotional intensity that they become direct orders to your subconscious mind. This completely reframes the entire journey toward financial abundance. Instead of feeling like you have to build everything from nothing, you begin to understand that you're simply aligning yourself with wealth that's already flowing through the universe, waiting for someone with the right mental frequency to attract it. This shift from creation to attraction transforms your entire approach, because it removes the desperate energy that actually repels the very thing you're seeking. Behind the scenes, something extraordinary happens when you truly grasp this principle. Your subconscious mind stops trying to figure out how to create wealth and starts focusing on how to become the type of person who naturally attracts it. This is a completely different process that requires a different kind of mental and emotional discipline. The transformation happens through what I call mental chemistry, and this is where most people get stuck because they don't understand the precise ingredients required. Faith is the chemistry of the mind that, combined with emotion, can convert a simple idea into tangible reality. But this isn't faith in the religious sense that most people understand. This is a highly concentrated mental state, conviction so complete that it doesn't allow defeat as even a remote possibility. This kind of faith is actually a learned skill, a mental discipline that you can develop through practice and repetition. It's the ability to maintain absolute certainty in your desired outcome, regardless of current circumstances, external opinions, or temporary setbacks. When this faith combines with intense emotion, it creates a chemical reaction in your consciousness that literally transforms your internal vibration. Most people's faith fluctuates with their circumstances. They feel confident when things are going well and doubtful when they encounter challenges. But wealth consciousness maintains unwavering faith regardless of external conditions, because it understands that faith is the cause, not the effect, of favorable circumstances. The journey toward developing this unshakable faith requires you to train your mind like an athlete trains their body. You must consciously choose faith over fear, certainty over doubt, possibility over limitation, even when your current reality seems to contradict your desired outcome. This isn't denial or positive thinking. It's the deliberate cultivation of the mental state that attracts abundance. When you master this mental chemistry, your thoughts become magnetic. forces that draw opportunities, people, and resources toward you with surprising speed and precision. The impact extends far beyond your bank account because this level of faith transforms how you approach every challenge and opportunity in your life. Write in the comments, "I'm attracting abundance," if you can feel that shift happening within your consciousness right now. That movement from trying to create to learning how to attract what already exists. Now, I want to go even deeper into this transformation because there's a practical aspect to developing unshakable faith that most people never discover. They think faith is something you either have or you don't, like a genetic trait or natural talent. But here's the revelation that will completely change how you approach your financial goals. Faith can be voluntarily induced through specific practices that literally rewire your consciousness. The journey begins with understanding that your subconscious mind doesn't distinguish between experiences that happen in physical reality and experiences that happen in your imagination when they're charged with intense emotion. This is the hidden truth that allows you to build faith before you see evidence, to develop certainty before circumstances support it. Faith can be voluntarily induced by saying daily affirmations with genuine emotion. I am rich in ideas, opportunities, and action. Wealth seeks me because I attract it with conviction. Wrong about affirmations. They repeat them mechanically without feeling like reading a grocery list. The transformation happens when you speak these words with the same emotional intensity you would feel if they were already true. Behind the scenes, something extraordinary occurs when you practice this correctly. Each emotionally charged repetition creates new neural pathways in your brain, literally carving channels for different thoughts and beliefs. You're not just repeating words, you're reprogramming the fundamental operating system of your consciousness. But there's an even more powerful technique that accelerates this transformation, and it might challenge everything you've been taught about authenticity and honesty. The secret is acting as if you already have what you desire. This means speaking like a wealthy person, walking with the purpose and confidence of someone who's achieved their goals, responding to life's challenges as if you're already successful and abundant. This isn't pretense or fake it till you make it superficiality. This is signaling the universe by embodying the vibration of your desired reality. When you act as if you already have what you want, you're training your nervous system to become comfortable with success, wealth, and abundance. You're literally practicing being the person who can sustain the lifestyle you're working to create. Most people sabotage themselves because they're constantly acting from their current limitations rather than their future possibilities. They speak like victims, walk like people carrying the weight of financial stress, and respond to opportunities from a mindset of scarcity. This behavior sends a clear signal to both their subconscious mind and the universe that they're not ready for abundance. The transformation happens when you realize that how you show up in the world today determines what shows up in your world tomorrow. Your posture, your language, your decision-making process, your responses to challenges. All of these communicate your internal relationship with success and wealth. When you begin embodying wealth, consciousness before the wealth manifests, something magical occurs. People start treating you differently because your energy has changed. Opportunities begin appearing because you're vibrating at a frequency that attracts them. Your decision-making improves because you're thinking like someone who already has options and resources. This practice extends far beyond financial abundance because when you master the art of embodying your desired reality, you develop the ability to consciously shape every aspect of your life experience through your moment-to-moment choices about how to be in the world. Write in the comments, I embody abundance now, if you're ready to start acting from your future success rather than your current circumstances, knowing that this shift in embodiment is what transforms possibility into reality. Now, I want to go even deeper into this transformation because there's a powerful source of energy within you that, when properly understood and directed, can become the driving force behind extraordinary wealth creation. This revelation might challenge conventional thinking, but it explains why some people seem to possess an almost magnetic charisma and unstoppable creative force that propels them to unprecedented success. The hidden truth is that sexual energy, when controlled and directed rather than dispersed, can be transformed into creative impulse, personal magnetism, charisma, and fuel for great achievements. This isn't about suppression or denial. It's about conscious direction of one of the most powerful forces in human nature. When this energy is channeled upward rather than dissipated, it becomes mental acuity, decision-making courage, and creative capacity that most people never access. Behind the scenes, this transformation explains the extraordinary achievements of history's most successful individuals. They intuitively understood that this life force energy could be transmuted into business innovation, artistic creation, and wealth generation. Instead of allowing this powerful energy to scatter in random directions, they learned to harness it as fuel for their deepest ambitions and highest aspirations. This process creates what appears to be supernatural magnetism and presence. When you learn to direct this energy toward your financial goals and creative projects, you develop a quality of focus and intensity that others find compelling and attractive. Your ideas become more innovative, your decisions more decisive, your persistence more unshakable because you're operating with the full power of your life force energy aligned behind your vision. The journey toward mastering this transmutation requires understanding that wealth begins with a mental state, not external actions or strategies. It's not what you do that creates abundance, it's how you think, how you direct your energy, how you channel your deepest creative forces toward your desired outcomes. Deep within you lies an invisible code that dictates your reality, and this code can be consciously rewritten when you understand the principles governing its operation. True wealth cultivation happens in your mind, not in external actions alone. Most people have this backwards. They focus on tactics, strategies, and external manipulations while neglecting the internal transformation that makes all external efforts effective. They're trying to build wealth from the outside in, when the only sustainable approach is from the inside out. This internal code that dictates your reality operates like a sophisticated program running in the background of your consciousness. It determines what opportunities you notice, what risks you're willing to take, what people you attract into your life, and what outcomes you unconsciously expect. When you learn to access and reprogram this code, everything in your external world begins shifting to match your new internal blueprint. The impact of understanding this principle extends far beyond financial results because it reveals that you are not at the mercy of external circumstances. You are the conscious creator of your experience, capable of directing your most powerful energies toward any outcome you choose to manifest with sufficient focus, intention, and sustained commitment. Write in the comments, "I direct my energy consciously," if you're ready to harness all of your creative life force toward building the abundant, prosperous life that reflects your highest potential and deepest aspirations. Now, I want to go even deeper into this transformation because there's a fundamental law of the universe that most people unknowingly violate, which explains why their wealth-building efforts feel like pushing water uphill. Understanding this principle will revolutionize how you approach not just money, but every area of expansion in your life. Here's the revelation that changes everything. Nature abhors a vacuum and fills it with what you're prepared to receive. This isn't just a physics principle, it's a spiritual and psychological law that governs all manifestation. You cannot attract wealth while simultaneously clinging to scarcity, fear, and limitation. To fill yourself with riches, you must first create space by emptying yourself of fear, doubts, and the mental and emotional clutter that occupies the very space where abundance wants to flow. This behind-the-scenes process explains why some people seem to effortlessly attract opportunities while others struggle despite having similar goals and working just as hard. The difference isn't in their external efforts, it's in their internal capacity to receive. Most people are trying to pour new wine into old wineskins, attempting to attract abundance while their consciousness remains cluttered with poverty thinking, self-doubt, and attachment to familiar limitations. The Saffron transformation requires a conscious emptying process that most people resist because it feels like loss rather than preparation for gain. You must release relationships that drain your energy, beliefs that limit your potential, habits that keep you small, and the comfortable familiarity of struggle. This isn't about becoming heartless or abandoning people. It's about creating energetic space for the relationships, opportunities, and resources that align with your expanding vision. But here's where the journey becomes challenging. And this is where most people's transformation ends prematurely. There's a spark within you that won't let you surrender completely, even when everything seems impossible. That discomfort you feel when you're not growing, that restlessness that pushes you forward even when you want to quit, that's not anxiety or dissatisfaction. That's your calling, your inner compass pointing toward your unrealized potential. Most failures come from people who didn't know how close they were to success when they gave up. The moment of breakthrough often comes disguised as the darkest hour, when every external indicator suggests that your dreams are impossible and your efforts are futile. This is precisely when the law of vacuum is doing its deepest work, clearing away the final obstacles and creating space for the abundance that's about to flow into your life. The impact of understanding this principle extends far beyond wealth creation because it reveals that every apparent setback is actually set up for a comeback. Every loss is creating space for greater gain. Every ending is preparing you for a more magnificent beginning. Your willingness to trust this process, to continue moving forward even when you can't see the results yet, determines whether you'll be among the few who break through or the many who stop just before their miracle arrives. This law operates whether you understand it or not, but conscious cooperation accelerates the process exponentially. When you deliberately create space in your consciousness, your schedule, your environment, and your relationships, you're sending a clear signal to the universe that you're ready for the next level of abundance and success. Write in the comments, "I'm creating space for abundance." If you can feel that inner spark, refusing to let you settle for less than your full potential, knowing that your breakthrough might be closer than you think. Now, I want to go even deeper into this transformation because there's a fundamental principle that separates those who achieve their dreams from those who abandon them. And it has nothing to do with talent, luck, or favorable circumstances. This revelation will expose the real reason why some people seem to inevitably succeed while others give up just before their breakthrough arrives. Here's the hidden truth that changes everything. Persistence transforms any desire into its physical equivalent. This isn't motivational speaking or positive thinking. It's law, mental science operating as predictably as gravity or electricity. What you maintain in your mind with unwavering faith and consistent action becomes reality. That simple, that powerful, that unavoidable. Most people completely misunderstand how this process works behind the scenes. They think persistence means grinding harder, working longer hours, or forcing outcomes through sheer willpower. But true persistence is actually a form of faith in motion, the ability to maintain your vision and continue taking aligned action even when external evidence suggests your goals are impossible. The transformation happens when you understand that every desire you've ever had is actually a preview of something that already exists in potential form. waiting for you to develop the persistence necessary to bring it into physical reality. Your job isn't to create wealth from nothing. It's to persist long enough for the natural laws of manifestation to work through you. But here's where most people's journey ends prematurely, and this connects to the deepest secret of wealth creation. Faith is the principal ingredient that converts thoughts into riches, not hope, not wishful thinking, not crossing your fingers and hoping for the best. The secret of success isn't found in what you can see with your physical eyes, but in what you believe with unshakable conviction deep in your being. This kind of faith operates from a knowing that what you desire is already yours, not because you can see it or touch it, but because you've claimed it at a level that transcends physical evidence. When this faith combines with persistence, you become literally unstoppable, because you're no longer dependent on external validation or immediate results to maintain your forward momentum. Behind the scenes, something extraordinary occurs when you develop this combination of faith and persistence. Your subconscious mind stops entertaining doubt and begins operating from the assumption that success is inevitable. This shift in your internal operating system changes everything: how you make decisions, how you respond to setbacks, how you show up in relationships and opportunities. The impact extends far beyond your bank account, because when you master these principles, you develop what I call success consciousness, a way of being in the world that naturally attracts the people, resources, and circumstances necessary to manifest your desires. You stop trying to convince the universe to give you what you want and start embodying the person who already has it. This journey requires you to trust a process that operates on timelines longer than your immediate gratification and in ways more subtle than your logical mind can understand. But when you surrender to this process while maintaining persistent action, you align yourself with forces that have been creating miracles since the beginning of time. Write in the comments, "I persist with faith," if you're ready to combine unshakable belief with relentless action, knowing that this combination makes your success not just possible, but absolutely inevitable. Now, I want to go even deeper into this transformation, because understanding how thoughts actually become money will revolutionize everything you believe about wealth creation. Most people think wealth comes from working harder, finding better opportunities, or having the right connections. But there's a hidden truth operating behind the scenes that determines who attracts abundance and who remains stuck in financial struggle. Here's the revelation that changes everything. Wealth begins with an idea, but that idea needs direction through concentrated thought. This isn't just philosophical concept, it's the practical mechanism by which all fortunes are created. When you focus your mind intensely on a defined goal, maintaining that focus regardless of distractions or discouragement, you begin molding the invisible forces of the universe to work in your favor. Most people's minds are scattered, jumping from one worry to another, one distraction to the next. They think about wealth for a few minutes, then spend hours focused on problems, bills, and limitations. This scattered attention creates scattered results, but concentrated thought operates like a laser beam, cutting through obstacles and illuminating pathways that remain invisible to unfocused awareness. The transformation happens when you understand that your mind is not just processing information. It's broadcasting a signal that attracts circumstances, opportunities, and people aligned with whatever you're consistently focused upon. When your thoughts become concentrated and sustained, that signal becomes so powerful it literally reshapes your reality to match your mental images. But there's something even more fundamental that determines whether your concentrated thoughts ever manifest into physical wealth. And this connects to the deepest secret of success. Decision is pure energy, not just a mental choice, but a vibrational frequency that aligns your entire being with your desired outcome. Indecision is the seed of fear, because when you can't decide what you want, Your mind entertains every possible doubt and limitation. Firm decision is the first step toward destiny mastery because it eliminates internal conflict and channels all your mental, emotional, and physical energy toward a single objective. The world makes way for the person who knows where they're going, not for those who doubt, hesitate, or wait for perfect conditions that never arrive. Behind the scenes, something extraordinary occurs when you combine concentrated thought with firm decision. Your subconscious mind stops wasting energy on alternatives and focuses all its creative power on finding solutions to manifest your chosen outcome. Your perception shifts, your posture changes, your energy becomes magnetic because you're no longer divided against yourself. The impact of mastering these principles extends far beyond financial results because they represent the fundamental mechanics of conscious creation. When you learn to concentrate your thoughts and make firm decisions, you develop the ability to consciously shape any area of your life through focused intention and unwavering commitment. This journey requires recognizing that most people fail, not because they lack capability, but because they lack the mental discipline to maintain concentrated focus on their goals long enough for those goals to manifest. They get distracted by immediate circumstances, discouraged by temporary setbacks, or seduced by easier alternatives that promise quicker results. Write in the comments, "I focus my mind completely," if you're ready to harness the power of concentrated thought and firm decision to transform your financial reality from the inside out. Now, I want to go even deeper into this transformation because there's a hidden truth about setbacks and challenges that completely reframes how you experience obstacles on your journey toward wealth. Understanding this principle will transform your relationship with failure and explain why some people seem to bounce back stronger from every defeat, while others are crushed by their first significant setback. Here's the revelation that changes everything. Every failure carries within it the seed of equal or greater benefit. This isn't just inspirational rhetoric designed to make you feel better about disappointments. It's a fundamental law governing how growth and success actually occur. What you consider defeat today can become the exact mold of your success tomorrow, but only if you develop the mental framework to recognize and cultivate those hidden seeds of opportunity. Behind the scenes, failure serves a purpose that most people never understand because they're too focused on the immediate pain of disappointment to see the deeper transformation taking place. Every setback is actually a form of education, teaching you lessons that cannot be learned through success alone. It reveals weaknesses in your approach, gaps in your knowledge, and limitations in your mindset that must be addressed before you can sustain the level of success you're seeking. The transformation happens when you shift from seeing failure as evidence that you're not meant to succeed to recognizing it as preparation for handling the success that's coming. The universe doesn't give you what you want, it gives you what you can handle. Every challenge you overcome increases your capacity to receive and maintain greater abundance. But there's an even more powerful principle that determines whether you'll ever discover these hidden benefits, and this connects to the fundamental difference between those who create wealth and those who wait for it to appear. The leader is one who acts first, even when no one else has moved. Wealth isn't found lying around waiting to be discovered. It's provoked into existence through bold action and unwavering initiative. Initiative creates momentum, and momentum is the invisible force that turns possibilities into realities. When you take action before you feel ready, before conditions are perfect, before you have all the answers, you're sending a powerful signal to both your subconscious mind and the universe that you're serious about your goals. This signal activates forces that remain dormant for those who wait, hesitate, or seek permission from others. Those who master initiative master their destiny because they understand that the universe responds to movement, not intention. You can have the most brilliant ideas, the clearest vision, and the strongest desire, but without initiative, they remain trapped in potential forever. Initiative is what transforms thoughts into actions, dreams into plans, and plans into results. The impact of developing this proactive mindset extends far beyond financial success because it fundamentally changes your relationship with uncertainty and risk. Instead of waiting for guarantees that never come, you learn to create certainty through action. Instead of being paralyzed by the fear of making mistakes, you understand that mistakes are simply feedback guiding you toward better strategies. This journey requires recognizing that every moment you spend waiting for better circumstances, more information, or external validation is a moment that wealth builders are using to move closer to their goals through decisive action and unwavering initiative. Write in the comments, "I take initiative now," if you're ready to stop waiting for permission and start creating the momentum that transforms your dreams into your reality through bold, consistent action. Now, I want to go even deeper into this transformation because there's a powerful force operating in your daily life that's either building your fortune or destroying your financial future, and most people are completely unconscious of its impact. This revelation will expose why some people seem to effortlessly attract abundance through their very presence, while others repel opportunities without even realizing it. Here's the hidden truth that changes everything. How you speak is how you live. This isn't just about communication skills or vocabulary. It's about understanding that words aren't just sounds floating through the air. They're declarations of power or limitation, direct orders to your subconscious mind that shape your internal programming and external reality. Every phrase you pronounce carries vibrational energy that either aligns you with wealth consciousness or poverty consciousness. When you say, "I can't afford it," you're programming your mind to find reasons why abundance is impossible. When you declare money is hard to come by, you're instructing your subconscious to make financial flow difficult. But when you shift your language to, "I'm creating the resources for that," or "money flows to me easily," you're reprogramming your internal operating system to attract rather than repel abundance. Behind the scenes, something extraordinary happens when you become conscious of your language patterns. Your subconscious mind, which controls about 95% of your daily actions and decisions, begins operating from the new instructions you're providing through your words. This isn't positive thinking or denial of current circumstances. It's the deliberate cultivation of the mental and emotional frequency that naturally attracts wealth. The transformation accelerates when you understand that the universe operates on a principle most people never grasp. The universe doesn't respond to wavering desires, casual wishes, or occasional bursts of motivation. It responds to burning, constant desire ignited day and night in the heart of someone who's decided to achieve their goals regardless of what happens. This level of clarity and consistency is what separates those who manifest their dreams from those who remain trapped in cycles of hoping and disappointment. When your desire becomes constant rather than intermittent, when it burns with the same intensity whether you're feeling inspired or discouraged, you create an unstoppable momentum that attracts circumstances, people, and opportunities aligned with your unwavering vision. Most people's desires fluctuate with their moods, their circumstances, and their confidence levels. They feel motivated when things are going well and doubtful when they encounter challenges, but wealth consciousness maintains consistent intensity regardless of external conditions because it understands that your internal state creates your external reality, not the other way around. The impact of mastering these principles extends far beyond your bank account because when you learn to speak with conscious intention and maintain unwavering clarity about your desires, you develop the ability to consciously direct the creative forces of the universe toward any outcome you choose to manifest. This journey requires recognizing that every word you speak and every desire you hold is either programming you for success or failure, abundance or scarcity, empowerment or limitation. The choice is always yours, and that choice is being made moment by moment through your language and the consistency of your internal focus. Write in the comments, "My words create wealth," if you're ready to transform your language from unconscious limitation into conscious creation, knowing that this shift will fundamentally alter your relationship with money and success. Now, I want to go even deeper into this transformation, because understanding the true nature of your mind will revolutionize not just how you approach wealth creation, but how you navigate every challenge and opportunity in your life. What you're about to discover explains why some people seem to possess an almost supernatural ability to overcome obstacles and achieve impossible goals, while others remain trapped by their own mental limitations. Here's the revelation that changes everything. The human mind can achieve anything it can conceive and believe. This isn't motivational hyperbole, it's a fundamental truth about human consciousness that has been verified throughout history by every great achievement, invention, and breakthrough. Your mind is a vehicle, the most sophisticated vehicle ever created, and it's the only vehicle that can take you from absolute poverty to unlimited wealth if you learn to drive it properly. But here's what most people never realize. They've been living their entire lives without ever learning how to consciously operate this incredible machine. They allow their minds to run on autopilot, reacting to circumstances rather than creating them, responding to fear rather than directing their thoughts toward their desired outcomes. It's like owning a Ferrari but never learning how to shift out of first gear. Behind the scenes, your mind is constantly processing millions of pieces of information, filtering reality through your beliefs, expectations, and habitual thought patterns. When you learn to consciously direct this process, when you take control of the steering wheel of your consciousness, you gain the ability to navigate toward any destination you choose, regardless of the terrain you encounter along the way. But there's something that stops most people from ever mastering this vehicle, and understanding this obstacle is crucial to your breakthrough. Fear is the greatest barrier between you and your success, but here's what most people don't understand about the nature of fear. It's just energy, and like all energy, it can be transformed rather than avoided or suppressed. There's nothing more powerful than a human being who's learned to transform fear into success fuel. When you understand that fear and excitement are actually the same physiological response in your body, elevated heart rate, heightened awareness, increased energy, you can learn to reinterpret those sensations as signals that you're moving towards something important rather than something dangerous. The transformation happens when you stop trying to eliminate fear and start learning to dance with it. Every time you feel afraid, you're actually receiving valuable information about where your greatest growth opportunities lie. The things that scare you most are often pointing directly toward the actions that will create your biggest breakthroughs. This journey requires recognizing that fear has been programmed into your nervous system as a survival mechanism designed to keep you safe and small. But wealth creation requires you to expand beyond your comfort zone into territories that your primitive brain perceives as dangerous. When you learn to feel the fear and take action anyway, you're literally rewiring your neurology for success. The impact of mastering this principle extends far beyond financial results. Because when you transform fear from an obstacle into an ally, you develop the courage to pursue opportunities that others avoid, to take risks that others consider foolish, and to persist through challenges that cause others to quit. Write in the comments, "I transform fear into power," if you're ready to stop being controlled by fear and start using it as rocket fuel to propel you toward the abundant, successful life you were born to live. Now, I want to go even deeper into this, Transformation, because there's a practical truth about conquering fear that most people never discover, and it explains why some individuals seem to become more confident and powerful with each challenge they face, while others become increasingly paralyzed by their anxieties and limitations. Here's the revelation that will change how you approach every intimidating situation in your life. You can't think fear away. You must face it. This is where most people get stuck because they believe they need to feel confident before they take action. But confidence actually works in reverse. Fear dissolves in action, not in contemplation, not in preparation, not in waiting for the perfect moment when you feel completely ready. Every time you confront what terrifies you, something extraordinary happens behind the scenes in your nervous system. Fear loses its power over you, and you feel stronger, bolder, more invincible because you've proven to yourself that you can survive and thrive in situations that once seemed impossible to handle. This isn't just psychological, it's neurological rewiring that creates permanent changes in how you respond to challenges. The transformation happens when you understand that action is the universal solvent for fear. Whatever you're avoiding, whatever you're postponing, whatever you're afraid to attempt, that's exactly where your greatest growth and breakthrough opportunities are waiting. The universe has a strange sense of humor in that it places your most valuable treasures on the other side of your biggest fears. But there's something even more powerful that determines whether you'll ever reach those treasures. And this connects to the fundamental difference between people who achieve extraordinary success and those who live lives of quiet desperation. Persistence is the invisible force that separates dreamers from achievers, and it operates like a hammer that, blow by blow, breaks through every obstacle. Most people give up at the first sign of serious resistance, but life surrenders to those who insist. This isn't about blind stubbornness or ignoring feedback. It's about maintaining unwavering commitment to your vision while remaining flexible about your methods. When you develop true persistence, you become like water flowing around rocks, always finding a way forward regardless of what obstacles appear in your path. Behind the scenes, persistence creates a compound effect that most people never experience because they quit too early. Each action you take, each obstacle you overcome, each fear you face builds momentum that makes the next challenge easier to handle. You're not just achieving external goals, you're building internal strength, confidence, and resilience that becomes your greatest asset in every area of life. The impact of mastering this principle extends far beyond any single goal because persistence teaches you that you're capable of far more than you ever imagined. It reveals that most limitations are self-imposed, that most obstacles are temporary, and that your ability to continue moving forward is the ultimate determining factor in what you can achieve. This journey requires understanding that every moment of resistance you encounter is actually a test of your commitment to your dreams. The universe is asking, how badly do you really want this? And your answer isn't found in your words. It's demonstrated through your willingness to persist when persistence becomes difficult. Write in the comments, I persist through everything, if you're ready to become one of the rare individuals who insists on their dreams until reality has no choice but to surrender to your unwavering determination. Now, I want to go even deeper into this transformation because there's a fundamental truth about achieving lasting success that most people never grasp. And it explains why some individuals seem to inevitably manifest their dreams, while others remain trapped in cycles of starting and stopping, hoping and giving up. Here's the revelation that will completely transform your approach to wealth creation. There's no substitute for persistence. Not talent, not connections, not perfect timing, not favorable circumstances. The person who makes a decision and maintains it, regardless of obstacles, setbacks, or discouragement, sooner or later converts that decision into reality. This isn't just inspirational theory, it's the practical law that governs all achievement. Behind the scenes, something profound happens when you truly understand this principle. You stop looking for shortcuts, stop waiting for perfect conditions, stop seeking external validation for your dreams. You realize that your persistence is the one variable completely under your control, the one factor that no external circumstance can touch if you refuse to let it. But here's what most people don't realize about why they struggle to maintain persistence. The greatest enemy of your wealth isn't lack of opportunity, market conditions, or economic circumstances. It's excuses. Every excuse you make for why you can't continue, why your situation is different, why the principles don't apply to you, becomes a brick in the wall that separates you from your dreams. The transformation accelerates when you recognize that excuses are actually just fear dressed up as logic. They're your mind's way of protecting you from the discomfort of growth, the uncertainty of change, the responsibility of success. But when you eliminate excuses from your vocabulary, when you take full ownership of your results, you access a level of personal power that most people never experience. This connects to perhaps the most important principle in all of wealth creation, something that goes deeper than strategies, techniques, or external actions. You can't become wealthy while acting like someone poor. You can't attract freedom while thinking like someone chained. You can't manifest abundance while maintaining the identity of someone who struggles with money. True transformation begins when you dare to become the person who can sustain the life you dream of living. This isn't about pretending or faking success. It's about fundamentally shifting your self-concept, your daily habits, your decision-making process, and your way of being in the world. It's about asking yourself, how would someone who already has the life I want think, speak, and act in this situation? The journey requires understanding that your current results are a perfect reflection of your current identity. If you want different results, you must become a different person. This identity shift happens through consistent choices, daily practices, and moment-by-moment decisions to embody your future self rather than remain trapped in your past programming. The impact of this transformation extends far beyond financial success, because when you learn to consciously evolve your identity, you develop the ultimate superpower, the ability to become whoever you need to become to achieve whatever you want to achieve. Write in the comments, "I'm becoming who I need to be," if you're ready to stop making excuses and start making the identity shifts that will inevitably lead to the abundant, successful life you've always known was possible. Now, I want to go even deeper into this transformation because we've reached the heart of everything we've been discussing, the fundamental shift that separates those who occasionally attract success from those who become magnets for continuous abundance. This revelation will expose the real secret behind why some people seem to effortlessly draw opportunities, resources, and wealth into their lives, while others struggle despite working just as hard. Here's the truth that changes everything. It's not that wealth finds you randomly or by chance. It's that you become the magnet that attracts it through the fundamental transformation of who you are at your core. The universe responds to your vibration, your energetic frequency, and that vibration is an exact reflection of your deepest identity. When you change your identity, you change your vibration. When you change your vibration, you change what you attract. Behind the scenes, this process operates through laws as precise and predictable as gravity or magnetism. Just as a magnet doesn't chase after metal objects, but naturally draws them through its inherent magnetic field, when you develop wealth, consciousness, you don't have to chase opportunities. They begin flowing toward you because of the person you've become. The transformation happens when you understand that everything you've learned, every principle we've explored, every revelation you've absorbed has been preparing you for this moment of choice. Wealth, success, abundance, freedom, all of this already exists and is available, floating in the quantum field of infinite possibility around you right now. It's not scarce. It's not limited. It's not reserved for a chosen few. It's only waiting for one thing, for you to become its reflection. This is the most powerful choice you'll make in your life, because it's the choice that determines whether you'll spend your remaining years hoping for change or embodying the change that creates the life you've always known was possible. This journey has brought you to a crossroads where you must decide who you're going to be moving forward. Will you remain the person who dreams about wealth but continues operating from the same limited identity that created your current results? Or will you step into the version of yourself that naturally attracts abundance because wealth consciousness has become your default way of being? The impact of this choice extends far beyond your bank account, because when you make this fundamental shift, every area of your life begins transforming. Your relationships change because you're showing up differently. Your opportunities multiply because you're recognizing and seizing possibilities that were always there but previously invisible to your old way of thinking. Most people never make this choice consciously because they don't realize it's available to them. They think their personality, their circumstances, their limitations are fixed and unchangeable. But you've discovered the truth, that identity is fluid, that consciousness is malleable, that who you've been doesn't determine who you can become. This moment represents the bridge between your old life and your new reality, between who you've been and who you're becoming, between limitation and limitless possibility. You're standing at the threshold of a transformation that will ripple through every aspect of your existence. Write in the comments, "I choose to become the magnet," if you're ready to make the most important decision of your life, the choice to transform your identity into one that naturally, effortlessly, and inevitably attracts the abundant life you were born to live. If you've made it this far in our journey together, something profound has already shifted within your consciousness. You've absorbed principles that most people never encounter, insights that can literally transform your relationship with wealth and success from this moment forward. That's not an accident, that's alignment. The fact that you stayed with me through this entire exploration tells me you're serious about transformation, not just interested in quick fixes or surface-level motivation. You're someone who understands that real change happens from the inside out, that sustainable wealth begins with consciousness, not just strategy. If these revelations resonated with your soul, if you felt that spark of recognition when we talked about becoming the magnet rather than chasing opportunities, I'd be honored to have you subscribe to this channel. Because this conversation we just had, it's only the beginning. I'm constantly exploring the deeper principles of consciousness, success, and the hidden laws that govern abundance. And I want to share that journey with people who are ready to receive it. Leave a comment saying, "This message was for me." If you felt that personal connection throughout our time together, that sense that these words were meant to find you exactly when you needed to hear them. I read every single comment because each person who connects with this content is part of a community of conscious creators who refuse to settle for ordinary lives. And if this conversation created value for you, if it opened new possibilities in your mind, a simple like helps this message reach others who are ready for their own transformation. You never know whose life might be changed because you took that small action. There's a video right here that complements everything we've explored today, diving even deeper into the practical application of these consciousness principles. Click and continue with me over there, because the most powerful transformations happen when you maintain momentum, when you don't let the insights fade, but instead build upon them immediately. Your abundant life is waiting, and now you know the path forward.